Welcome to Great Notley Garden Village, a new development under construction near Braintree in Essex. In these programmes, we take you behind the scenes of a large building project to see how it works and to meet some of the people involved. Today, we start at the northern edge of the village, in an area which is still open fields. This is the last phase of the development, and over the next couple of years, it will gradually be replaced by a couple of hundred new homes. In fact, this is the last crop that will ever be grown in these fields. This area here is earmarked for a small cul-de-sac of family houses. One family mourning the change, for very practical reasons, lives in this house. When they first arrived, nearly 40 years ago, there was nothing here except a quiet country lane. This area of Great Notley is known as Panna's Farm because this was Panna's Farm. These were the farm cottages, and for 36 years it was tenant farmed by the Twitchets. Phil is the son of Mr. and Mrs. Twitchet, and in about a year's time his house, their house, gets pulled down, and all of this goes as the estate comes over, doesn't it, Phil?
Yes.
I can't believe, because your farm was here, right at your fence. There were huge buildings here.
Yeah, we had the old barns. Essex barn was out the back. Big Dutch barn over the other side with all the cereals. We had animals all round us because this was actually a pig farm. The sows and the bulls were running out in the meadow out to the side, across the road in the front, and to a field further round.
So we can see the estate there, the beginning of it.
Yes.
It's going to come down here, isn't it?
It's going to come all the way down to us.
It's going to go through your house.
It's going to go through our house, yeah.
How does that feel at the moment, seeing it approaching?
It felt terrible when we first sort of thinking about it, because we need somewhere to live. But we're now getting used to it, that it's sort of sunk in. We know we've got to move, we've got no choice, we've got to leave. So I suppose we now got happy with it. But I'd still rather live here than anywhere else. It's just home now.
What does it feel like looking out over what was farmland and seeing all of the buildings?
I'm sorry to see the land go. It's very good farmland. We had open space. We could run around, do what we wanted. No trouble anywhere, no people.
Where are you going to end up? Are you going to end up on Great Notley?
Unofficially, we've been told they're going to build some houses in here, hopefully for rent through the council. And they said we should be able to get one. We're on the council waiting list, but now it's all waiting to hear. They've got to make us homeless.
Also must be a bit strange living in a house that's basically condemned, isn't it? It's going to be pulled down, it's going to die.
It's terrible because that's a nice old house. Bit cold in the winter, but we're happy with it. It'd be better if we had central heating that in. Yeah, but it's life. It's life. It's going to go. We can't do a lot about it. We don't own it. If we owned it, it'd be a different matter, wouldn't it? The whole place has changed from I come down. There was a single road lane, one bungalow over the road, and that's the way it's sort of gone for us.
Yeah. All right, mate. Thanks ever so much for talking to me.
OK, thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck. I need it.
As Philip tends a garden which is about to disappear, I'm going back over the fields to the Willow's Edge area of the new development. Here, most of the new houses are already built, or at least started, and plot number 136 has reached a critical stage in its life. If you've been watching this series, you've seen her before. If you continue watching, you'll see her again. She's one of the most frequent visitors to the estate. She is the local building inspector, Eileen McCutcheon. And it's her job to make sure that these buildings come up to spec and that the developer's not cutting corners. She's up there checking the roofs. I'm going to join her. Eileen, what are you looking for on this house?
Well, today we're going to be looking at the roof trusses, just prior to them felting and battening, you know, basically covering the roof over. And we like to check all the roof structure, that it's in accordance with the plans.
Now, you've got the plans here, and it's got a sort of like a helicopter view of the house there with all the truss laid out.
Yeah.
Are you literally going to count all of those and then make sure that they exist on this building?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah. On this side we have a breakdown of what these relate to, and then we can check the exact layout of the roof structure from them.
Right, okay, let's move along and have a look at what it is. I mean, it's not just the number of trusses that are on that building, is it? You're looking at other things as well.
Yeah, we're looking at all of the structure, checking size of timbers, also things like, this is the top of the cavity. The cavity is the space between the two external leaves of wall. This has got to be closed at the top, so we check things like that. We check these straps, these are called holding down straps, and basically tie the roof to the walls. We check them, and we check for bracing, which is additional timbers that go across to tie the whole roof together.
This is your last chance to do it, isn't it? Because within, well, probably hours, all of this is going to be covered.
All of this will be covered over. It'll be felt and battened and then tiled on top, probably within a day or two.
Right, let's carry on having a wander round. Oh, gotta go under here. Oh, this is convenient. So actually, checking a house is not always that simple, is it, really?
No, not really.
I know this. This is a facing board.
Yeah, that's fascia.
And under there we've got a soffit, yeah?
That's right, yep.
This is every DIY enthusiast's dream, really, isn't it? Because it just looks after itself.
That's right, absolutely no maintenance, no having to put scaffolds up at a later stage to repaint it and whatever. You can just leave it there and it's like that for years.
Do you have to know all of these? Every single part?
Well, yeah, we need to know all the different parts of it. I mean, this is the actual ventilation strips for round the bottom of the roof structure itself. You see what happens
I know
is
about
you know
these as
these.
well.
Yep.
Well, you've got a loft has got to breathe, hasn't it?
That's
or a roof
it.
area has got to breathe.
That's it.
Because of condensation coming up from the bathrooms.
That's it. Because
I'm beginning to learn.
Because you've got insulation in there.
Both the ventilation strip and the eave board are made of plastic, which is virtually maintenance-free.
You know, when you go to parties, people always say, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" What do they say when you tell them?
Well, I think they're quite surprised. They're quite shocked, and I think they first assume that you're probably not actually on a site as such, that you're probably in an office, you know, sort of working there. But once you explain to them what you actually do, it's they're quite
You're
surprised.
out here getting covered in muck.
Yeah, same as all the other building workers.
This is that board, isn't it? That stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
this slots under here.
That's the wide one, yeah. But they've still got a wee bit of finishing off to do. But at the end of the day, it'll sit
like that.
Yeah, sort of more or less under here like that.
And that'll give the ventilation to this part of the roof.
Yep, that's right.
It's a big house, this, isn't it?
It is a big house, yeah. There's quite a few houses, you know, like similar to this on the site.
How do you think it's doing, looking at it?
Well, it's almost there. I mean, basically all the structure's complete now, and it's just the finishing off of this that's got to be done, and that's what they're working on at the moment.
Is it pleasing to your professional eye?
Yep. I don't think there's anything that I can pick up on this one at all. It seems to be all there.
Excellent. I love the way you can just scan a roof like that. And I see your eyes going all over the place, and you're spotting absolutely everything. Spotting every little detail. What would be a typical thing for the chippies or the builders to miss out?
Right. Well, on these particular types of roof, these all come in pre-manufactured. They're actually designed by computer now, and they're just delivered to site like this. So it's very difficult to miss one of the actual main parts of the roof. But what we do tend to find gets missed are things like bracing, which is the extra pieces of timber that look like they really shouldn't be there.
So it's that bit there, here.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Well, I mean, that just looks like a scruffy old bit of timber. But
I know. But
what's that doing?
What happens is that without that bracing, The roof, if it's hit by high winds or whatever, can actually cause the whole roof to collapse like a pack of dominoes. But if it's braced properly, then it's going to hold the whole roof together and it won't cause that kind of collapse.
What are these metal strips down here? What do they do?
Well, they're Gable restraint straps, because obviously behind you there is the gable wall, and they tie the whole thing to the gable.
Are they actually...
ties the gable to the structure.
Are they concreted into the
They're taken into the inner leaf of the brickwork. You can see it tied down the back.
Oh, right,
yeah.
I see. So it's like an L shape
yeah, it's
that
like
goes
an L
into the
shape.
wall.
It goes right down the back of the wall.
And that's holding this
that
this
holds
wall up?
that onto the structure.
Gosh, I never realised you had to do that. So these actually could be quite wobbly if this wasn't done.
Yeah, well that's it. It's really just to hold that in place and tie the whole thing together.
Super. Have a look further round. Right. All in all then, has it got thumbs up or thumbs down, this one?
Oh, this one's got thumbs up.
Do you know it should be thumbs down?
No.
Yeah, in the Roman amphitheatre, thumbs down was actually good.
Was it?
Thumbs up was, it's just we've got it turned upside down. But...
Oh, right, I see. Well,
so
we'll give it thumbs down then.
We'll give it both. I'll leave you to it. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Join us after the break when I test drive a rather unusual vehicle. Welcome back to the Garden Village, where I'm going over to an area you may well know by now called Hunter's Lodge. Here, the builders are putting up a series of timber-framed houses, which, if you've been following this series, you'll know all about.
It's a big moment. The house, as we know it, is more or less finished on the outside, and we get to go onto the inside because we've had lousy weather, so we can shelter from the rain. Except the sun's come out and now we're going indoors. Actually, it's a good thing we're going indoors for, because now the outside is done, the plumbers are the first people to move in, and they do what's called the first fix, putting the pipes into the house so that you can be nice and warm when you want to be, and when you can have hot water when you want, or cold water when you want. Let's go and see them doing it. Colin is a plumber, and he's actually doing the first fix at the moment. I'm knocking his pipes all over the place already. I'm just going to go up here so I can actually talk to him. Now, what are you doing at the moment, Cole?
We're putting the heating pipes in to connect up with the radiators at the moment, upstairs and downstairs.
Is that always the first thing you do?
We do the heating, and there's a heating pipe work and a domestic pipe work.
What's the domestic?
That does the hot and cold to the bath basins, toilets, sinks.
I mean, you've got to get this right, haven't you? Because water can ruin a house, particularly a timber frame house like this one.
Well, when we finish these, we pressure test them. While the building's in this position, we pressure test them. We seal all the ends off, all these ends, open ends you can see. We seal them all off, and we get a pump. It's a pressure pump, and then we pump air and water into the system up to a certain millibars.
Yeah.
And then if you're going to get a leak, that will show up then before all the plasterboards put
because
up.
Because it all gets buried away, and if there was a leak,
makes a mess.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of mess. A little water goes a long way.
The plumber is given fixed points around the house like radiators, sinks and baths, but it's entirely up to his skill and judgment how and where he runs the pipes between them. In a timber-framed house like this, where the floors are put in early, a lot of the work is above your head, which can be difficult when you're soldering joints.
You have to watch the drips as well if you're working from below, don't you?
Certainly do. And it pulls itself up, you see, with capillary attraction. That's what they're called, actually. The fittings are called capillary fittings.
And it pulls the solder,
Pulls the solder in, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That's clever. Just getting rid of the excess.
Yeah. That's it, but you never want to touch them, just let the solder go off before you touch them, because if you touch the pipe, the solder cracks.
Does it?
Yeah, and it will leak.
Colin let me have a go, but he made it easy. The joint already had a collar of solder manufactured into it. But solder will only bond to an absolutely clean surface. Any grease or dirt and it'll crack away. Which leads to an interesting little fact. When you're soldering, you have to add a paste called flux, which when it's heated up, acts like an acid and cleans the pipe.
Okay, what's next?
Just clean the other end up and put them all, just push them together. You're doing it too fierce. You hold it underneath.
There's also something else I've always wondered about plumbing. How do you avoid airlocks in the central heating system?
We've just got to make sure that anything that you can, like a radiator, it must be higher than any pipe work you've got. And where you're crossing over in the floor spaces, you don't want to go, if you're passing one pipe over another, you don't want to go over the top, you want to go underneath. So no air cuts. If you take the pipe over the top like
the
that,
air would get stuck where your
on
knuckle
there.
is. Right?
You bend it underneath. If you can look upwards, you'll see how I've bent them pipes
Underneath
there. If you see up there, yeah?
Yeah, I can see how you've done that. Now,
But if you go over the top, then you get a little piece of air.
the other reason for the radiator being higher than any pipe is obviously because air goes up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you can let it out, vent it out
on the top of every radiator, you've got an air.
so you can let the air escape.
Yeah.
How long is it going to take you to do the house, Cole? Any idea?
2 of us, I should think, one of these in about 8 days, something like that, I would think. That's including all the drainage, what we do, the drainage, the soil pipes, the drainage for the bath basin and toilet. Some of these are bigger than others. This one is smaller than the last one we done, because you've got a lot of en-suites in these places.
Right.
Across the road, the last one we done, every bedroom had an en-suite. So you had actually 4 en-suites and the main bathroom, and this one is not quite as big because you've only got a bathroom and an ensuite on the first floor, then you've got another ensuite on the top floor.
Okay, cool.
So,
Thanks ever so much for giving me so much of your time. I appreciate it. And good luck with the house.
Right, thank you.
Cheers, mate.
I'm going to let Colin get on with it and go over to the neighbouring building site at Willow's Edge. Here, in one corner of the site, a new phase of houses is being started. Eileen McCutcheon, the building inspector we met earlier, is still wandering around, so I thought I'd grab her and find out more about what I believe is known as the groundworks.
Eileen, we've looked at all sorts of different stages of building a house, but this is one I haven't seen before.
Right.
What's this?
This is the preparation for the floor. This is what we call oversight stage.
Oversight stage.
It's basically just what you put over the site before you pour the floor.
Pebbles.
Yeah, well, they call this oversized gravel. And we put this down straight onto the ground, and then it's compacted, and then it's covered in sand, which is then
Over here.
which is then compacted again or consolidated using this machine called a whacker plate.
A whacker plate.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the idea of a whacker plate.
Yeah.
So that's literally just pounded the sand onto the top of those oversized pebbles, more of which are coming in at the moment.
Yeah.
And then, what's the next stage after that?
Well, after that, what we do is we put an inch of insulation all over the entire floor, bring it up the side as well. It's getting carried away. And we bring it up the side, and then on top of that we put a damp-proof membrane. But you can see that on this one over here.
This is it. Done then.
This is it actually done.
Can I step on it?
Yeah, that's fine. It's what's happened here is you can see where the insulation has been brought up the side.
Yeah.
That runs all the way underneath the concrete, and this goes on top, and eventually it'll be lapped in with the damp-proof course.
Over the brickwork.
It comes up here over the brickwork, then you get a damp-proof course sits on top.
Now, this is the opposite of everything we've ever seen before, because
Right.
this is literally just sitting on the ground.
Yep,
This is the floor of the house, and it's going to
Yep.
sit through all these layers
Yep,
on the ground.
On the ground itself, yeah.
What's this called?
It's just called a ground supported floor.
A ground supported floor, right? Because
Yeah.
the other ones we've been looking at, they're suspended floors.
Yeah, that's right.
Is this better than suspended, in your opinion?
Well, they both do the same job. The only difference is you can't use this kind of floor where you have deeper foundations. As soon as you go beyond 1.5 metre depth, you've got to have a suspended floor.
Why?
It's just, well, it's because of things like, on this site, it's because of trees or future planting. That's the reason why they've actually had to do that. Because of the roots, because of the shrinkable clay.
Okay, right.
So now you know what's likely to be under the floor of your house. But before I leave, I've just got to have a go with a whacker plate. That's if I can get the beast started.
Oh, nearly. Actually, it's very heavy.
It's more difficult than it looks.
I've got it now.
The wretched machine seemed to want to run away with me.
Stop! Lay still, you beast.
Join us again when we look further behind the scenes of Britain's newest garden village.